During the Great Depression, survival wasn't an abstract idea. It was a daily reality. From 1929 through the early 1940s, millions of Americans faced joblessness, hunger, and uncertainty. Yet in that struggle, ordinary people developed some of the most ingenious survival methods in modern history. They couldn't rely on stocked stores or new gadgets. Instead, they learned to repurpose, repair, and reinvent what they already had. One of the most remarkable and nearly forgotten of those Depression-era tricks was something so simple it's almost laughable. And yet it solved one of the greatest urban survival problems we still face today: how to stay self-sufficient and safe when resources disappear overnight. The hack was what they called the multi-use can system, a method of turning discarded tin cans and scrap into stoves, lanterns, cooking pots, water filters, and even emergency heaters. It wasn't born out of creativity for its own sake, it was pure necessity. And for anyone today who lives in a city or small apartment and wonders how to prepare for an unexpected disaster, this piece of Depression wisdom might be the single most practical skill you can add to your survival playbook. In the 1930s, cities were hit hard by unemployment, fuel shortages, and food scarcity. People couldn't afford to buy new tools or rely on constant electricity. So they turned to what was everywhere: tin cans from canned food, oil drums, and scrap metal. The average family used these items to create makeshift cooking systems, heaters, and even improvised lighting devices. A single coffee can could serve 5 different functions depending on how it was cut, vented, or filled. Unlike the countryside, where people had access to wood, open space, or running water, city dwellers had to learn how to survive within tight quarters and limited supplies. The brilliance of these hacks was that they required no wilderness, no special tools, and no electricity, just knowledge. Urban preppers today face the same challenge. You can't always light a bonfire on your balcony or rely on solar panels in a blackout. But a tin can stove? That can keep you warm, cook a meal, and fit neatly on a small concrete ledge. The most versatile of all Depression-era inventions was the can stove, sometimes affectionately called the hobo stove. Built from an old coffee or soup can, it could, quite remarkably, turn a handful of twigs or scraps of cardboard into enough heat to cook a meal or boil water. Making one required only 3 things: a can, a sharp tool to punch holes, and some fuel. To recreate it today, you would take a large steel can — coffee, paint or soup cans work best — and cut out several air holes around the base to allow oxygen to feed the flame. Then you make a small cut-out door on one side so you can feed in bits of wood or wax-dipped cardboard. Inside, you add a few small dry sticks, or even rolled-up newspaper. Once you light it, the heat builds rapidly and exits through the top, where you can rest a pan or small pot. During the Depression, folks used these to cook stews, heat beans, or boil drinking water. Nowadays, it's a perfect off-grid cooking solution for apartment dwellers or those preparing for an urban blackout. You can even use it on a balcony driveway or rooftop if it's ventilated properly. Unlike gas or electric stoves, it doesn't rely on a grid, and the fuel, dry biomass or wax cardboard, can be scavenged easily. It's cheap, lightweight, and infinitely reusable. Electricity outages were, pretty frequent in urban areas during the 1930s, especially in the poorer neighbourhoods. Instead of just sitting in darkness, people made what they called can lanterns, using leftover oil or animal fat. They'd fill a can about a quarter of the way with grease, then insert a strip of cotton as a wick and light it. This would provide several hours of steady light and a bit of mild heat. Some folks even added small holes near the top to control the oxygen flow, which made the flame burn cleaner and brighter. If you're thinking of adapting this today, you can use vegetable oil paraffin wax or even rubbing alcohol as the fuel source. In a survival situation, it gives you both light and warmth without needing any electricity at all. A single lantern like this can actually raise the temperature of a small enclosed space by several degrees, just like it did in those tenement apartments during the Depression winters. These hacks weren't, optional luxuries. They were lifelines. When modern comforts failed, it was ingenuity that filled the gap. What made these people so resilient wasn't just the tools they made, it was the mindset behind them. They understood that everything had value and nothing should be wasted. The tin can that once held your food could become your heat source, water purifier, or light. It's a reminder that preparedness isn't about stockpiling expensive gear. It's about knowing how to use what's already around you. In practical terms, modern survivalists can apply this by practicing resource reallocation. Collect metal cans, old containers, and spare wire, not as trash but as raw material. Try building a hobo stove on your next camping trip or urban drill. Test how long it burns with different fuels, pine cones, shredded cardboard, or cooking oil. The more you experiment now, the more automatic it becomes when you actually need it. During the Depression, even water filtration was done using cans. People would layer sand, charcoal and cloth inside a can with small holes at the bottom. Pouring water through it removed sediment and improved taste. Primitive but, surprisingly effective. Today, you could replicate that with activated charcoal and cotton pads for an emergency filter. There's a reason these Depression-era methods are resurging among preppers and off-grid enthusiasts. They don't rely on fragile systems or specialized parts. They're built on logic, trial, and necessity. The same kind of thinking that kept families alive when the economy collapsed and, honestly, help never came. A century later, our cities face new challenges. Blackouts, supply chain disruptions, inflation, but the solution remains the same: resilience through self-sufficiency. The people of the 1930s didn't have internet tutorials or survival kits. They had grit, adaptability, and the will to make something from nothing. That spirit is really the foundation of true preparedness. If you take one lesson from their era, let it be this: survival isn't about panic, it's about creativity. A single can, a bit of knowledge, and steady hands can keep you fed, warm, and lit when everything else fails. So, next time you finish a can of soup, don't throw it out. Turn it into your own Depression-era survival tool. Test it, refine it, and teach it. Because when the lights go out and resources vanish, it won't be the person with the most gadgets who survives. It'll be the one who remembers how to think like our grandparents did. If you found this exploration valuable, make sure to subscribe to Echoes of Valor and share this video with other history enthusiasts and survivalists. These forgotten Depression-era hacks aren't just history. They're honestly the blueprint for modern resilience.